The situation was no better in the east. The Russians had penetrated Germany in eastern Prussia, but had been routed during the Battle of Tannenberg and forced into a defensive stance. The Russians had not the ammunition, nor the food, nor the clothing to hold off a defensive line, especially with winter closing in. A second line of trenches, a second stalemate, had been created on the other side of Germany. Meanwhile, to the south, the Balkan front was little more than a series of suicidal assaults on behalf of both Austrian and Serbian troops up and down the rugged environments of southern Europe. Serbia was able to hold off with the aid from countries like Romania, but always appeared to be near collapse. Fortunately, the Austrians had to face a second front against the Italians. Despite having been part of the Triple Alliance, Italy had been able to escape its treaty with Germany and Austria-Hungary by declaring that the actions of its allies had been offensive in nature. By 1915, the Italians had begun fortifying Alpine passes to hold off German and Austrian armies while they secured the northern ports of the Adriatic Sea. It was a theater of war unlike any other, where mountain climbers and skiers attempted to break the enemy lines, with little success. Soldiers on both sides died from heavy artillery fire, as well as from glacial temperatures, sickness, and natural disasters. Finally, the Ottoman Empire, in one last chance for greatness, joined the war on the side of the Central Powers. Trained by German officials and inspired by Islam, the Ottoman soldiers planned to cut Great Britain off from its colonies and isolate Russia by cutting off its trade with the Mediterranean. The French and the British did all they could to prevent this from happening. The once regional conflict was now of global scale. Men from all over the world were sent to fight in the hellish landscapes of Europe and the Middle East. The British forces, for example, included men from England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, India, South Africa, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. France enlisted men from Indochina and its African possessions. The entire planet appeared to be traveling to Europe to fight. But let us return to 1915. Battles appear to intensify as both sides attempt to break the deadlock. This only leads to increased casualty rates. The New Year shows no possible signs of peace. Because of this, near the town of Ypres in Belgium, the British continued to fortify their positions. Then, on the morning of April the 22nd, there was an ominous current in the air. The Germans had released chlorine gas into the atmosphere, which quickly spread into the British trenches. A deadly cloud of yellow and green smoke became the newest form of warfare. 170 tons of gas were released, which claimed the lives of over 5,000 men in a matter of minutes. Chemical warfare had been born. Although it was used for the rest of the war, casualty rates decreased from gas attacks, as men were soon drilled and equipped to survive these barrages. Men now used gas masks to protect themselves from the new horrors the war was bringing to life. Like in any armed conflict, unprecedented events continued to occur, which demonstrated the best and the worst the human mind has to offer. In an effort to make killing more efficient, aerial warfare became crucial. Pilots became the knights of World War I, exchanging the horrors of the trenches to the dangers of the skies. Roland Garros became the first man to shoot down an enemy plane with a machine gun. Planes and balloons now squared off in deadly dogfights over the war-scarred earth.